These people are stroke patients. They are being treated at S.I.S. International General Hospital in Cần Thơ, Vietnam. They're fighting for life with indomitable spirit, even if there is only 1% of hope. They are facing many challenges to recover their health. Why is that? And what kind of help do they need? Please spare a few minutes to listen to their stories. The poor stroke patients in the Mekong Delta, Vietnam.
Hello everyone. Currently now the stroke is a major problem in healthcare in Vietnam. Every year we have more than 200,000 stroke patients. And most of the patients came to the hospital too late. And especially in Mekong region, the population is about 17 million. We have every year more than 20,000 of stroke patients. And we have a lot of the younger stroke patients, and especially we have a lot of poor patients underwent stroke, need the high technical treatment procedure. And it costs a lot of money.
Every day, S.I.S. International General Hospital in Cần Thơ receives over 100 stroke patients from the provinces and cities of the Mekong Delta, Vietnam. Among them are the underprivileged, predominantly farmers and day laborers. Their meager incomes are insufficient to cover the high-tech stroke treatments. The hospital's resources are stretched thin, making it impossible to weave or reduce the fees for too many patients at the same time. Besides, there are other reasons that put a heavy burden on the poor patients.
And in our region, the patient and after S.I.S. have been established, until now we can treat the patient earlier. But the cost for the treatment with the severe cases has cost a lot of money. For example, the patient sometimes need to do the IV RTBA or to treat the patient with the live vessel occlusion. We have to use a lot of devices like stem retriever, aspiration catheter. It costs normally about 100 million Việt Nam đồng. It's about 5,000 US dollar per procedure.
The average income of most of the poor stroke patients at S.I.S. International General Hospital in Cần Thơ is less than 200 US dollars a month, just enough to buy food and pay for some essential services in their daily lives. Many of them have no savings, no bank accounts, and arrive at the hospital with only 50% of the required treatment fees. Desperation drives them to sell their only piece of land where they grow crops for a living, or sell their only house where their family lives. All this stems from the following reasons.
And then the patient needs to have a rehabilitation, and sometimes the patient in the hospital, stay in the hospital for more than 1 month and cost a lot of money. Without the health insurance, some poor patients, they cannot afford the endovascular treatment. Also, they cannot take care for the life after stroke. So we need very strong support from the charity foundation. That's why we can support a lot of patients currently now. After 4 years established, the charity foundation has support more than 1,000 stroke patients who cannot pay for the procedure. And the cost for the payment from the charity foundation, we spend more than 10 billion of Việt Nam đồng. It means that more than 500,000 US dollar during last 4 years up to now.
As the number of poor stroke patients continues to rise each year, the strain of the hospital's resources becomes overwhelming. The weight of these hardships is shared by the dedicated medical professionals at S.I.S. Cần Thơ. Despite their best efforts, the funds from generous sponsors fall short of meeting the needs of these destitute patients. Borrowing from relatives, mortgaging properties, and incurring debts from credit institutions become the grim solutions that these patients are forced to accept. At this point, the money from charitable organizations is the most valuable lifeline for them because it will help them have access to the most advanced technologies in stroke diagnosis and treatment, such as.
That's why the demand for 1 year from now, we need about at least 5 billion Vietnam dong for every year. It means that we need about more than 250,000 US dollar 1 year for the charity for poor stroke patients who cannot pay to rescue for life during the procedure. That's why we would like to call for the sponsor donation from international for our poor stroke patient to get the support when we have the poor patient who cannot pay for the procedure.
After 2 years in operation, the fund has proved its effectiveness. It has supported more than 1,000 poor patients with a fund of 10 billion Vietnam dong. The fund has also helped save lives of many patients with severe stroke. I think this is a great example of a combination of talented physicians, modern equipment, and a charity fund for the impoverished. They are doing a great job.
In this dire scenario, the lifeline for these patients lies in the Charity Foundation for Poor Patients Suffering from Stroke in the Mekong Delta. Established by this hospital in 2019. It has received support from philanthropic individuals and organizations to assist the poorest stroke patients. With a sponsorship of 2 billion Vietnamese dong, which equals to more than 82,000 US dollars, what has this fund been doing? And is that amount enough to sponsor a majority of poor patients or not?
For the purpose to establish the charity foundation, we would like to connect for international support, especially from all the charity foundations over the world. And that's why we officially got the license, got the document, allow everything compliant with the Vietnamese law, so we can get the money from international. And we can make the commitment that we will spend all of the money from the charity foundation, and also from every people who put the money inside, we spend 100% to the poor stroke patient.
As the largest center for diagnosis and treatment of stroke in the Mekong Delta, S.I.S. International General Hospital in Cần Thơ has invested more than 500 billion dong in the state-of-art medical equipment, providing world-class stroke diagnostics and treatments at remarkably low costs compared to many other countries. Consequently, the charity fund frequently has to subsidize the expenses for impoverished patients. However, if the situation continues, the hospital may reach its breaking point.
The cost for the treatment in this department is normally very high, and in average, patients have to pay for the medication, the devices, and sometimes we have the poor stroke patient. But we cannot wait for the money to treat the patient, so that's why we treat all the patients. Sometimes the doctor cannot accept to wait for the money to treat. So that's why the demand for the fund from charity is very, very high. So at the beginning we know about that, so we try to establish the charity foundation to support the poor patient. And here is some example. The patient have to pay over 150 million US dollar for the ICU department because they underwent the severe stroke.
In this critical moment, S.I.S. Cần Thơ urgently appeals to international organizations and individuals across the globe to extend their helping hands to the unfortunate stroke patients in the Mekong Delta of Vietnam. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to all charitable organizations, individuals, funding bodies, and compassionate entrepreneurs who have contributed Charity Foundation for poor patients suffering from stroke in the Mekong Delta. Your generous donations breathe life and happiness back into these patients, and they will pass on the stories of your noble acts to their children and grandchildren. Together, let's write a new chapter of hope and healing for these brave souls in the Mekong Delta.
From the established from 2019, we spent a lot of money and we asked a lot of charity people to get the support for the poor patient. That's why here now we carrying thousands of cases of poor stroke patients, and when they have stroke, they just come to S.I.S. for the treatment. And with the successful from the project, we would like to expand to all the region of Vietnam. And we would like to ask for the support from outside the country, from the charity, from international, to get the fund it bigger and bigger. It means that we can treat the patient without concerning about the money. Because the stroke patient cannot wait for the money to treat.
I'm calling on donors, both near and far, as well as charitable organizations, to contribute to the fund for the poor stroke patients in the Mekong Delta. Your generosity can be a lifeline for those who are not only battling illness, but also in desperate need of financial help.
For more information or to donate, please visit our website at worldwideweb.sischarity.vn. Email us at contact@sischarity.vn, or visit our fan page, S.I.S. Charity Foundation, at worldwideweb.facebook.com/Charity Foundation for Poor Patients Suffering from Stroke, S.I.S/. You can also reach us at 1-800-1115 or 0084-2926-519-911 or 0084-832-369-911.